Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. Goodis. Happy birthday to you.
At 45, Jerry Goodis has some of the major accounts in Canadian advertising. Tom Tarr, Al Can, Hiram Walker, London Life, and more. A lot more.
Well, I'm allowed one wish?
Just one, only one.
Okay.
At Speedy Muffler King, we've got a one-track mind. At Speedy, you're a somebody.
We care about the shape you're in. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
London Life. To us, life is more than insurance.
Having been asked by a company to dream up a slogan for their famous product, Preparation H, those of you who are wiggling in your seats know the one I'm talking about. I came up with what I thought was a great slogan. It was rejected. The slogan, "Kiss Your Hemorrhoids Goodbye," was a blatant case of anti-Semitism if I ever saw one. We didn't get the account.
'23 Prince Andrew Place, Don Mills, Ontario. Jerry Goodis always wanted to be in advertising, but more, he wanted to be an advertising boss. He now has a staff of 130. Media buyers, copywriters, account executives, secretaries, art directors.
What are we going to get? Are we going to get a real guy?
A character. Got another one with all the guys, Jerry.
Oh, we have?
Yeah.
Oh, but that's got to be a really great.
Yeah, it's going to be like the pizza guy, you know, like
Yeah,
the Steinbergs, like that. Come on in, I'll show it to you.
Open up on the chick's back and just pull back, and then the photographer starts to talk.
Doug Linton is the creative director. His department comes up with the ideas.
She opens up, she says, "Okay, I'm ready." He says, "How's it feel?" She sort of says, "How's it look?" And he counsels her to, "Okay, now move your shoulder a little bit, good. What would you be doing in this wonder bra? Be working or maybe making dinner?"
Rude Blazer is vice president and senior account executive. For 20 years, he's been the middleman between the creative department and the clients. Goodis and Blazer were kids together. Some say they still are.
I got a problem with commercial ideas where you have a model speaking. Someone may pull it off, but boy, is it ever tough enough to get a girl, first of all, that's right up here? That's number one. Then she has to be able to move. And boy, if you want her to talk as well, holy Jesus, is that ever a problem in this country?
I'm going to go over it tonight, comb it, and see how it comes together. But
I wish you would.
And we'll present it in script form. I'm not going to show them the old board.
Goodis is president of the agency and its top salesman.
In some ways similar. Formosa is in very, very many ways similar to your situation because it's a smaller guy going up against the bigger guy, and it tells how we.
Merv Mirsky, vice president of an Ottawa bottling company, is looking for an agency. He wants to market his soft drinks all across Canada.
I can't offer you any kind of magic elixir, magic format that will suddenly make the Coke guys and the Pepsi guys tremble in their boots. But we can worry them a little bit by not outspending them. There's no way we can outspend them, but we can sure outsmart them. It's really more a matter of doing battle with the giants. Now you've done a very nasty thing. You've got me all excited about your company and your products and yourself, because you're a very open-minded guy, it seems to me. What the hell do we have to do to start working together? That's all. That's the inevitable question.
Yeah, well, I think to get your recommendations as to where we go in each product.
Yeah, that's great. There's one step missing, and this is something that I always have to explain to new friends. All we have in our company are about 130 of us, and time and hopefully some talent. That's all we have. We don't have a product like you. We don't have a bottling line. We don't have equipment. We have time. For us to do that is absolutely vital and necessary. It can only be done after you say, "Okay, Goodis, you're our advertising agency."
Nothing on speculation.
Nothing on speculation.
Bye.
Bye-bye, Murph. Thank you very much. I've rarely met a man like that. He's on the level. He really wants something fresh, original, unique, and he's a David, and he wants to put that stone in a slingshot and whip it at the big guy's forehead. Turns me on, because we've done it before. We did it for Formosa, we did it for Hush Puppies, we did it for Speedy. You know, we took on Canadian Tire, Esso, Shell, and you name all of the other large oil retail gasoline places when Speedy went into business. And we won. We took their muffler business from them. And we took the shoe business from Savage. And the other thing that intrigues me about him is that he's got a unique product. Of course it's a good product. You know why I want to go to Ottawa? I want to drink the goddamn stuff. Because I don't believe what others say. I want to drink it myself. And if what he says is true, there is an opportunity to have another famous case history.
In Canadian advertising, a famous case history is Hush Puppies. The Greb Shoe Company came to the struggling Goodis agency in 1960. They had $7,000 to spend on advertising. Jerry Goodis put them on television, and Greb sold 44,000 pairs of shoes. 3 years later, spending $200,000 on advertising, 1 million Canadians were buying Hush Puppies. Goodis made Greb a big name in the shoe business, and Greb made Jerry Goodis a big name in advertising.
Ben, wake up. I heard something in the kids' room. Ben, you went to bed with your Hush Puppies on again.
Oh, well, they're so comfortable. I keep forgetting I have them on. I'll check the kids, honey. You go back to sleep.
It was the first time in Canada that a shoe company had advertised on television. Commercials shown in Kitchener and Winnipeg quadrupled sales of Hush Puppies. Filming the first commercial cost $900. Jerry Goodis now spends $1,000 a second.
Good night, dear.
Puppies,
Get your head into new Hush Puppies.
There have been 17 Hush Puppy campaigns, 17 different ways to sell shoes.
Who says you can't teach an old dog new tricks?
Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Maynard.
This year's commercial has a man talking to his foot.
Is that comfortable? Well, naturally, it's a Hush Puppy. Right. And I bet you didn't know Hush Puppies could look this good, eh? You little rascal.
Do-do-do-do-do-do. You ought to be in pictures.
With your looks and my personality, we're dynamite. Hush Puppies are so irresistible that I couldn't decide which style to get you.
14 performers try out for the roles.
Just tell me which style you like best and I'll get it for you.
You're all by yourself in your apartment. You're having a little chat with your foot. You've known your foot for a good long time, so have a nice private chat.
The concept itself is kind of mad, so that if you underplayed it, you would actually pick up the madness rather than overplaying it.
Harry Hamburg, imported from California to cast and direct the 30-second spot.
Like you're talking to your arm or something, say.
My arm?
Yeah. But you're actually talking to your foot, okay?
With your looks and my personality, we're dynamite. Hush Puppies are so irresistible that I couldn't decide which style to buy you.
You know, she is crazy. Some kids go to Stella Adler for years trying to act like a nut, and some of them are just born with this quality.
I can't shake Paul Emile Frappier.
Yeah? He wasn't acting. He was making a corned beef sandwich. No, he was very good. Ready to be the main.
I'm developing a very profound hatred for you.
At least
Slowly, not
we started off with a dislike, and I think it's ripening into a hatred. I like my relationship goes somewhere. That's good.
As long as it...
You got to work on an emotional
I
level.
pulled a classic cop-out. I think he should make the decision.
That's because I agree with you. I think that that Paul Emile was excellent. I really do.
And that commercial, if it doesn't come off, has the potential of being disastrous. If I were the creative director of the agency, of my own agency, and I had my druthers, I wouldn't go with it because I don't know whether we can, in fact, pull it off. But I'm not the creative director, and I don't like to arbitrarily scrunch in on our guys and say, no, it's not going that way, I want a new commercial, because that's no way to build an organization that can fend for itself. And so I'm trusting my guys who have great conviction about it to pull it off. And one of the guarantees that we may be able to have in pulling it off, and may be able to have, is a contradiction in terms when you use the word guarantee, is getting the very best director that you can, and the very best talent that you can to load the dice, so to speak. But my fear is that it'll be a near miss, and if it's a near miss, we're going to have to start all over again at great cost and great embarrassment to ourselves. I just won't allow it. We'll do it again, and we'll pay for it. That's the risk we're taking. I won't allow that commercial. At that point, if the reputation of Greb is at stake, is in question, that commercial will not ever get on the air.
To be free and alive everywhere that you go.
Wonder Bra is one of Goodis's larger accounts, spending $750,000 a year.
And to travel with flair.
In 7 years, Goodis has made only 3 commercials for them, based on the model photographer theme. The commercials have had a very long life.
We care about the shape you're in. So does he, so does he. Wonderful, wonderful, Wonder Bra.
For Wonder Bra, the time has now come to develop a new campaign.
You're looking good in a whole new way. You feel good and work on play.
Wonder Bra's marketing executives have come from Montreal to hear the new jingle and thrash out the concept for a 4th commercial.
In the evening you feel fine, and you know that now's your time, and you will say, I care about the shape I'm in. Wonderful, wonderful.
Though they have prepared 5 different approaches, Goodis's people are pushing for a repeat of the model photographer concept, this time in a Canadian setting.
I see the Canadian model photographer commercial as a brand new, fresh chapter. It's a different commercial than Paris. They're in completely different settings. The Paris one is a little drama. And I think in that sense, I don't want to pat myself on the back, or ourselves on the back, I think it's a pretty adroit and clever use of the equity that we've already built.
How possible is to make it credible? The model of today, how is she viewed by today's contemporary consumer?
She looks good, and she knows what it takes to look good. That's the perception of the ordinary consumer of a model. That she's a model because she looks good, and she looks good in anything. That's how they see her.
I think the consumer today is more sophisticated and getting more and more sophisticated, and you must be really convincing and believable with everything you present to them. I don't think they buy anymore just no sort of concept of a model endorsing something.
Look, we have research. It shows that the model photographer concept, it was just tested in February. We know that has a lot going for it. There's no question about that in my mind. I don't have a big question mark over it.
We are now 7 years on TV.
Yeah.
Lots of things have happened. There are lots of social change happening in the way of life, in fashion, and you name it. I don't need to spell it out.
That's true.
And this first concept, I think, should be included in the test because it reflects in many ways a way of life of many women.
Wonder Bra, tired of the model photographer theme, want a campaign centering around a career woman. For Goodis, the customer may not always be right, but he should remain a customer.
I think we'll make a very serious error if we do not test a brand new, fresh approach to Wonder Bra.
Yeah, right.
And I think that's
I would agree.
And I'll convince Rube. Leave him to me.
Their immediate response is one thing. When they get back and chew it all up and chew it over 14 times, you might be quite surprised with what they come back with.
And Al said to me, the temptation, like you said in the meeting, the temptation is to do something radical and something different because maybe some of us are tired of success. But he said, and I said, Al, we could have shown you some radical departures, but we love you guys too much, we respect you too much to show you that we're so clever and screw up a position in the marketplace that we've all earned together. He said, you're absolutely right. But we have a bright client, we have a client who understands that we've got some tremendous equity out there, and let's not blow it. Hey, how did the Borden thing go? All right?
Until you arrived.
No shit. I come in and I say, here's the board that I think we should go with. I think it's great.
That's
The
the right
client
thing to
says,
say.
no, won't pass health and welfare. We're going with that one. So I said, okay, I like that one too.
right.
I love that one. I always did love that.
You liked the best.
After 3 more meetings in Toronto and 2 in Montreal, Wonderbraw fired Goodis and moved to J. Walter Thompson, the world's largest advertising agency. Jerry Goodis says he couldn't come up with a concept they would accept. He still calls regularly, just in case.
So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. These are 4 different pairs of shoes. To cut back and forth to each one. We're going to do these all by themselves with sync and with a finger going in. And then show your feet you love them is the pullback. And we use a longer lens in this. We're going to crop everything out so much that we're just, it's looking at everything through.
It'll cost $26,000 to make the commercials and over $200,000 to buy the airtime to show them.
We'll shoot. Hey, Domine Patria Spiritus.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Have I got a present for you?
Is it working in time?
Yeah, I think it's gonna hang.
How are you, Harry?
Jerry Goodis had no experience in making television commercials when Greb first came to him. No one thought to tell Greb.
Can I have a peek in the camera?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is that allowed?
Sure. When the character's on pass the buck down.
That shoe's got athlete's foot. Looks fine.
When the idea for the foot commercial first came up, Doug Linton went to Greb's head office and acted it out for them. They loved it.
How's Velvet feeling? Is she all right?
She's over there.
Oh, there she is. Velvet, you devil.
Let's go again.
Stand by, please. Roll sound.
Camera.
1 take 7.
Action.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Have I got a present for you?
Okay, cut.
That was nice.
Good. So in the meantime, you missed the wrap-up of this first take here. No,
We're just deeply concerned.
One of the problems is that he does about 9 takes he's got on the film. Maybe he's got 8. And they're all the same. Except for my new...
Like the delivery of the line.
Yeah,
Have I got
like
have I got a present for you? The emphasis should have been on, have I got a present for you? Because that's the idea of the whole commercial. Look at, should we work through you, and then you work through Evelyn, and then she works through Amber? Or should we go to take it to the United Nations, or what the fuck should we do? No, but really, we'll work through you, okay? Because I don't want to go near Harry.
Now sit.
All right.
Now sit.
Velvet, the hush puppy trademark, was once kidnapped. It was rumored the ransom was $20,000. It was also rumored the ransom was paid.
Sit.
Selling shoes isn't easy.
Sit.
Well, I got my fingers crossed.
Stand by, please. 7. Very quiet.
Take 7.
Okay.
Roll sound. 3 take 7.
All right.
Camera.
See how it's kind of angle? Let's do it from here.
Away from the office, Goodis spends some of his time as one of 2 men on the Advisory Council on the Status of Women.
Will you use the damn earphones that you have on?
Too loud?
You're deafening us upstairs.
I'm sorry.
A friend once described Goodis as a self-made man who worships his creator. At home, he spends his time with his wife, his kids, and big bands. He's a founding member of the Committee for an Independent Canada. In his teens, he sang with the Toronto Jewish Folk Choir, and from there it was a very small step into show business.
This is the Travelers' latest Columbia folk song album called Quilting Bee. Tonight, however, the Travelers, who have a tremendous repertoire of Canadian folk songs, are going to do just one of them for you now. Ladies and gentlemen, the Travelers.
Here's a song and a story about a group of men who leave Liverpool on the good ship Santiano.
She said that you were terrific then, but looking at it now.
Terrific. We were never terrific.
Santiano, around Cape Horn to Frisco Bay.
Your whole face looks, it doesn't look like it.
Completely different. Has it improved or has it degenerated?
Improved. Look at that makeup.
Santiano, heave her up, and away we'll go. We're bound for California.
If I hit a high note, my pants are going to fall off. Look at this. Aside from the fact I look funny, I couldn't sing worth a damn. Have you noticed?
Yes, you could.
No.
You faked it well.
No, Daddy's on television. Isn't that wonderful?
Do you believe it, David?
David, stop throwing up on that rug, David.
Santiano, heave her up, and away we'll go. We're bound for California.
And now, a message from our alternate sponsor.
You want to run away from home? When I'm on TV, I don't sing.
You weren't a bad singer.
You weren't that bad, or you wouldn't have
terrible.
been in a group.
Right.
The only reason I was in the group was it was my idea, Les. We were the first folk group in this country. And we were the worst folk group in this country.
The Travelers grew out of the back streets of Toronto's sprawling immigrant ghetto. Born into the Jewish working class, Goodis claims his background keeps him closer to the masses, and that adds to his success. They had rooms on Bathurst Street. His father was a trade union organizer in the garment district. A tailor from the Ukraine, Louis Goodis took his son to rallies for the Spanish loyalists and to see the hunger trains of the early 30s. He died when Jerry Goodis was 6 years old. Poverty and socialism were Goodis's playmates. At Jewish summer camp, he would worry about spies from the RCMP and discuss socialism with people like Rube Blazer. Later, on the day of the execution of Julius and Ethel Rosenberg, Goodis would be among the demonstrators outside the American consulate in Toronto. When word of their deaths came through, Jerry Goodis laid down his placard and went home. His politics now aren't the politics of revolution. In the last federal election, he was executive producer of the Liberal Party's political telecast, although he has refused a nomination to run as a candidate.
That guidance counselor of yours, are they helpful to you?
No, they're lousy. Everything's computers. They say, well, we'll have to check it with the computer. It's not whether, it's not personal.
They have a sort of a civil service attitude to young people and your numbers. And I mean, the other extreme is anarchy, where every student can pick his subject.
Well, you can do that.
But I think that's a little extreme. You want to be a doctor,
I think we should be able to decide that ourselves.
But if you want to be a doctor, there are certain...
Well, I'm taking the things
there are certain subjects which you must have in order to succeed. Well, get as much out of them as you possibly can. Because the fact of the matter is you have a certain goal and you have to achieve it within the system. Your father isn't going to change the system. You're not going to change the system. Not yet, anyway. So did you ever hear of Joyce Whelan? Terrific Canadian artist. She was in my class. She and I and maybe 3 or 4 others made it, in quotes, And all of us were told by this guy, we're in the wrong course. We should go and take a correspondence course in secretarial work or something.
Anyway, have a good day.
Okay, thanks a lot. Will you be home early?
Yeah, I'm gonna be home early
Okay,
tonight.
see you.
Bye-bye.
Here's for Freddie, who's looking after the money.
Here's to Freddie. Yes.
Goodis's friends outside the business are mostly childhood friends. They too have escaped into the professions, leaving Bathurst Street far behind. Doctors, accountants, educators, they share dinner at each other's homes once a month, discuss mortgage rates, investments, politics, and inevitably, advertising.
Some advertisers who won't give me their account because I'm a radical.
And you know why?
And because I will not work for Simon Legree, because I work as an equal with them, and for a whole lot of other reasons.
Sure.
So, you know, within the limitations of my industry, I've tried to be a little bit principled. Not very much, but a little bit.
You are in the position, willingly or unwillingly, of molding things. Sometimes you do them, I'm quite sure, subconsciously, not even aware that you're doing them.
Well, you know, it's a dichotomy of conscience, Maury. I am
Sure it
in the
is.
business of selling things. The more hush puppies I can sell, the happier my client is.
Right.
That's one half of my life. The other half of my life wonders about it. But the day is won by the fact that we can all sit here and we can enjoy all the food we want and live in beautiful homes like we all do.
Have you ever been confronted?
Drive big
Have you ever been confronted where you've had to say, I have to make a moral judgment, a social value judgment that says, I should not take that account?
Terribly difficult decisions to make. Decisions like that are not made by me. They're debated with 4 or 5 of our top people. Cigarettes is the classic example. I was outvoted no more than 2 months ago.
Somebody
A cigarette company, you're goddamn right. I was outvoted by the other half of the ownership of the agency and the total management of the agency.
And they were for?
my greed was in favor of taking the account, and they said, no way. But deep down inside, I bled a lot, I want to tell you. Because when a guy says, we've got $1.5 million and it's all yours, you know, that gives you a start.
A person who really wants to be hard-nosed about it, whether I do or not, you can determine later, might say to you, you know what? You chose a route of a parasite. You chose to live off the success of other business to augment their success, okay?
To make their success possible.
Okay, well, not quite.
Debatable.
Yeah,
There are businesses that have survived with very little and no advertising.
Not any business that depends
I'm not
on
talking General Motors and Ford.
mass consumption.
I just
of
said there are
goods.
businesses.
No
I didn't say mass business. I said there are businesses that have survived
you
without
made your
ever
point.
spending a penny on advertising. I'm saying to you, would you support the concept whereby any man who's in business should have equal support to make his product known to the public? And therefore, just as we have Medicare that takes care of the universal populace in Canada, we should have Adverticare.
Think about that one.
If I was paid as much money as I'm paid, I would be in full support.
Oh, you'd only get 90%.
Otherwise, I think it's a terrible
That's
idea.
Mercenary and
Right.
I think it's a terrible idea. I would like to propose a toast to all my very dear friends and drink up and shut up.
That's
terrific. Here's to us.
Here's to us.
I hear your friends are meeting in a phone booth downtown.
When the agency started taking up most of his time, Goodis abandoned the travelers, but he didn't give up his audience. He makes about a dozen after-dinner speeches a year now before various management groups. The speeches are written at the agency, and he charges $1,000 a performance.
Advertisers and their agencies are not guilty of causing the current problem, but they are responsible for encouraging this society to live far beyond its energy means. And the people that electrified everything from can openers to toothbrushes, shaving dispensers to carving knives, should come to realize that the human animal is not paralyzed from the first knuckle of his index finger upwards. A growing number of people are now accusing corporate callousness of helping to fuel that steamroller called progress with a capital P, which has squandered our energy resources, thus our human resources,
by stimulating people to buy, acquire, eat, drink, and possess.
If he goes to the seminars to hustle business, it's not obvious. Goodis is here to say he's worried. The businessmen have heard most of the arguments before, but there are always questions.
In other words, you are putting the onus on the manufacturer not to produce these status symbols.
Yes, and I'm putting the onus on guys like me not to try and persuade people to buy things they don't need. I should be driving a Datsun, not a bloody Lincoln Continental. And I like driving the Datsun better anyway. I got the sickness as well as everybody else. I could get to my office very nicely every day in my Datsun, in my wife's Datsun. But that's not going to make a grayer society. I mean, the Datsun is a bright orange, for God's sakes, and it only costs $3,000. You know, that's simplistic, but I think it makes the point. We've got to slow down. We've got to stop. We've got to think before we design and create products that don't make such a great contribution to society like most companies are doing.
I think I've seen a couple of the Speedy television commercials. One involves what I would consider a sort of demeaning image of a somewhat dumb female who is highly confused until the guy draws a little diagram, and then she thinks that everything's okay. And the other is of a little Italian spaghetti guy, which has to be racist or ethnic or something else.
Now that I am somebody, Speedy gets all of my business. Meravigliosi.
Well, I mean, what is that contributing to society? Why are we wasting time watching that stuff?
The response to that commercial, including response from the Italian-Canadian community, has been nothing but positive. I mean, that's a selling job that company has to do to sell its products, to make a profit in order to employ people, you know, the old cliche answer. I'm a handmaiden to companies like yours and Speedy, and so of course, I don't think it's a waste of time. It's a sales effort. This society is a profit-oriented, free enterprise system. If you don't like commercials on the air, let's all vote for David Lewis and have socialism here. Then we won't, you know, we don't want to have those kind of commercials. I think that commercial doesn't demean people's intelligence.
Jack and I have been in the communications business, I guess, a total of about 32 years. We are not hidden persuaders. We certainly aren't manipulators. I don't see how anyone from Limerick, Ireland, or myself from Regina, Saskatchewan, can possibly be manipulators or hidden persuaders. What we are A, we're businessmen. Secondly, we're communication people. And thirdly, we're involved and excited in one of the greatest industries that there is.
Every spring in the Royal York Hotel in Toronto, the Association of Canadian Advertisers holds a 3-day convention. Advertising people who come here have been known to be less than sober, change jobs, swap clients, steal accounts. Under the tuxedos and the smiles are some of the toughest businessmen and women in Canada.
McLean.
They advertise it, surprisingly, as the largest convention of its kind in the world. And they're all here. Representatives of the 60,000 people involved in the $2 billion Canadian ad industry. Magazines, newspapers, radio and television, customers, and of course, the agencies. Jerry Goodis has called the event an annual exchange of ignorance.
It has been so much criticism of advertising from so many quarters that we felt that this seminar should be sort of a way of restating our belief in advertising as a real positive force that has a job to do.
Probably the reason that advertising is being attacked is because it's so visible. It's right out in front of the public's eye for everyone to examine. And in some ways, that's the great strength also of advertising, in that really there's nothing to hide, it's all there. And because some people don't do the job particularly well, it doesn't mean that the whole concept or force of advertising should be held up for criticism. It's really a very positive force in making our particular society work.
But we live in a glass house, you know, and there's a lot of people out there with rocks in their hands, and it's very easy to throw one on them.
Failure is rarely discussed at the seminars. advertising men prepare to deal with success.
It is a pleasure to report that we actually have less competitors today than when McDonald's first came to Canada less than 7 years ago. We have only one message, and that is McDonald's is a fun place to go. The way we achieve this is through our clown spokesman, Ronald McDonald. In studies, Ronald has been shown to have 98% awareness among children and is second only to Santa Claus.
Who's the McFriendliest fellow in town? Who's our McFavorite hamburger clown? Whose feet are funniest? Whose smile is sunniest? Ronald McDonald. Who's the McBravest McClown of all? In the spring, summer, winter, and fall. Whose tricks are trickiest? Mind is the quickiest? Ronald McDonald.
We viewed it as a situation like David and Goliath. We have a history in the 15 or 16.
McDonald's ad agency is the U.S.-based Needham, Harper, and Steers. Jerry Goodis has Harvey's. In Montreal, he's presenting his new campaign to franchise dealers.
How come those other guys, McDonald's and A&W, are doing so much better? Well, they're clever, especially McDonald's. Their advertising is excellent, there's no question about it. And we said to them, okay, let's go get them. They're vulnerable. They got too much of the market, and we have got a better product. There's no question about it.
Harvey's has a reputation
For the next 5 years, Goodis' slogan, Harvey's makes a hamburger a beautiful thing, will be the cornerstone of a $2 million campaign. He'll spend the money on radio, newspapers, subways, and buses, trying to steal the teenage market. In 1 year, the advertising helped boost sales by 28%.
Any way you make it, it's the best hamburger around. A beautiful sight, we make it just right. Just right. Harvey's makes a hamburger a beautiful thing.
We have to have music that is noticed, delivers a message, persuades them to come and try Harvey's. Because we firmly believe, I'm willing to bet any amount of money, that once the kid comes into Harvey's, we've got him. To use one of their expressions, he's hooked.
We can get away with saying things that would not be believable in some of our competitors' commercials. This is because we are number one, we are looked upon as number one, and most importantly, we act like number one.
Grab a bucket and mop, scrub the bottom and top. There is nothing so clean as my burger machine. With a broom and a brush, clean it up for the rush. Before you open the door, or to shine on the floor. When we finish one then, start all over again. Tell me, what does it mean? At McDonald's it's clean. You deserve a break today. So get up and get away to McDonald's, McDonald's, McDonald's.
What about the thoughtlessness in my industry and the 1,600 or 1,700 messages that we lob into your dens every single day? Sure, the TV screen is filled with thoughtless images that pollute our culture, and I'm guilty. They're images my children are growing up with, and they're not images of Laurier and Cartier and Bethune. They're images of Kojak and Colgate and Coca-Cola. They're images on commercials saying father is a jerk, mother is stupid and a gossip, all kids should make out, and elderly people sit around arthritic and constipated with loose dentures, clutching a bottle of Geritol to their sunken bosoms. That's the picture you get. That's the picture the kids get.
Where I take issue with Mr. Goodis, who is a member of our industry, is that I think he goes publicly against everything that is wrong with advertising without helping the industry solve our problems together. And I think we can work much more effectively for the consumer if we work together than just going into the newspaper or the television or the press and saying this is everything that is wrong with this industry.
Jerry is a self-promoter. He's interested in self-aggrandizement. And I think that if to enter into a debate with Jerry Goodis is just largely a waste of time, because if you try and reflect on what he has actually said, it is usually quite vacuous, it is unsupportable, it is dressed up in some pretty colorful words, but he simply doesn't represent the advertising business in Canada.
Mr. Goodis, you call yourself perhaps the most hated man in Canadian advertising. Why do you consider yourself so?
Well, I don't consider myself so. My competitors and my detractors are very vociferous about this guy Goodis, and it bothers me. I don't want to be perceived as being an iconoclast, but that's the way it's turned out.
What are your criticisms of the industry? The credibility gap?
The gut issue facing our industry is that people are not believing us anymore because we've exaggerated, we've twisted, we've overstated. We rarely lie on purpose with our commercials, but the most important criticism I have to offer against our own industry is that we always assume that the people watching this station right now are just a little dumber than we are, and that's a dangerous assumption. Insulting people's intelligence, I think, is just a very, very naughty and nasty thing to do. And aside from the fact that, quite crassly, you can't sell anybody anything if you start off by insulting them, I think it's just stupid business.
There are 163 advertising agencies in this country, although only a handful are involved in the million-dollar accounts. Jerry Goodis is in that handful. Of the top 15 companies, 8 are American-owned.
The winner is London Life Insurance Company.
The last day of the ACA convention. At Goodis, they've lost count of the awards Doug Linton has won since he took over as creative director. Advertising people don't count awards, they count clients.
And the winner is Z-Bot Rust-Proofing Limited.
When Rube Blazer first joined Goodis, they worked out of one room and an overdraft. Now they spend $250,000 every week of the year, and the overdraft is long gone.
And the winner is London Life Insurance Company, J.D. Sheff.
At the convention, Goodis swept the awards. Top television, top radio, top campaign. The Canadian advertising business may not like self-promoter Jerry Goodis, but it finds him difficult to ignore.
Thanks to everybody at GGS, from the switchboard operator right up to the guy just below me, and I'm very, very pleased for London Life. Thank you very much.
The winning commercial was the most natural thing in the world.
If you could pick a country to be born in, Canada would be a good one. You could take advantage of its opportunities and help it grow. At London Life, we've been believing in Canada for about a century now, by finding better ways to protect our policy owners, by trying to do a little more for Canadians. That's why a baby born here stands a good chance of living in a home made possible by London Life financing. The roads he'll travel, the university he attends, this hospital, all represent a London Life investment attitude which is deeply concerned with the welfare of Canada. We always try to apply the utmost integrity to the ways in which we invest money. At London Life, we're concerned with living. When you protect your London Life, you do a little more for yourself than buy life insurance. London Life. To us, life is more than insurance.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Have I got a present for you? You smooth devil, you. Hey, Mr. Tall, Dark, and Handsome.
The Hush Puppy commercial is almost completed. All it needs is Goodis's approval.
What style do you like best?
See, you know, this idea, this commercial idea is got to be executed impeccably for people to believe it because it's so crazy. It's Meshuggah.
Yeah, right.
And if you can believe that there is such a character, that some people do talk to their feet.
Mm-hmm.
In order to believe that, I mean, the performance has to be real and not a performance. And what we've got, at least in the English versions, are two performances. The girl, Gilda, much better than the boy. I mean, if her boss knew that she talks to her feet, she'd lose her job. But if there's got to be people like that, they got to be totally and completely believable. I mean, the commercial as a commercial, like it works. I think it's going to get terrific awareness, and I think it's so unusual and so crazy that it's got to get talked about, which is what we're after, and noticed. But as a piece of theater, you know, here we go again, man. I find it forced.
I can't believe there aren't better takes. I remember seeing the guy doing it and felt considerably more satisfied.
Yeah, we were
I mean, listen to the guy, you know?
Okay, let's stop going around on this thing. Let's just have a look at the takes. I think it's academic until we see what's in there. That's the first point of entry, and then it.
Let me ask you a question. Do you believe what you saw on that first 30? Do you really believe that guy?
Do I believe the guy? I don't know. He's half cracked. He's talking to his feet. Now, there's various levels of believability in a guy that talks to his feet. Maybe you don't believe a guy that talks to his feet at all. I don't know. You want some awareness. You want to show the shoe.
If you believe a guy who talks to his feet, if he's really talking to his feet. Never mind what you think of him. But if a guy is reading his lines, that blows the whole thing. It's an act.
I'm not nearly as upset about it as you are.
I'm not upset. I just want to make something that's 60%, 90%. That's all.
Well,
I'm not
the best
upset.
thing to do is look at the tapes. That's let's start there.
All right. Well, I think we should do that.
Well, look at some right now.
In a business where accounts may change with the seasons, the Goodis-Greb love affair has survived a very long time.
But in the case of the Hush Puppy commercial, that's a completely different situation where we have a profound disagreement in the agency on the premise of that commercial. And my judgment was, in the beginning, violent opposition, you know. And then they persuaded me, the guys who I pay a lot of money and who are all very, very good people, persuaded me that I was wrong. I'm the only one who thinks so in the whole fucking company. What if I'm wrong? How do you judge? What if the thing on the roof of the Sistine Chapel, somebody came along and said, what a piece of shit, do it again. And I bet you there were people who said that. But it lived. Now forgive me, I am not suggesting that 30-second epic is that kind of work of art. The final judge will be, the real judges, the people in the marketplace, I guess. Secretly, I'm hoping I'm right, because that's my ego. But professionally, I hope I'm wrong. I hope that commercial sells 1 million pair of shoes, because that company is a very dear client of ours. They trust us, and I want them to continue to be successful. But on an artistic level, am I worried about it. Very worried about it.
The first audience for the foot commercial is the Greb sales force. They come once a year to see Goodis and his commercials. For them, Goodis is a calling card, a front man, a link with the big time. He's the man who put them on TV. The salesman sells shoes, Jerry Goodis sells commercials.
Because I can talk about Goodis, none of it good, derogatory, for hours. If I have to say something good, my speech is over.
We are honored today, and that Goodis has put on a clean shirt, you know, so. And a word about his background. He'll sell, you know, the old cliche refrigerators to Eskimos. Well, I've never seen it done, but he would claim he's done it. Oh, I have one memento I might give you.
Jack Campbell was the executive who first hired Goodis.
That is Goodis at his best. It appeared in weekend magazines.
Yeah. It says, "Our leader, God help us." The thing about this year is that it's the same as every year with Greb. We have a victory on our hands. I understand that we will be selling well over 1 million pair of our hush puppies to Canadians, and that's marvelous. And this year we have made 4 commercials. The actor and actress in each case are all alone. They're all alone in the commercial. And we are like voyeurs looking at them through the TV screen, almost like through their window in their apartment. They're being natural, they're being relaxed, they're being a little bit kooky, as some of us are when we're alone. We talk to ourselves, and we take a peek at them in that way. And I want to show them to you now, and I hope that you'll respond to them the way everybody who's seen them so far in the company here and in our place has responded to them.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Have I got a present for you? Comfortable, eh? Naturally, it's hush puppies. Bet you didn't think they looked this good. You smooth devil, you. Hey, Mr. Tall, Dark, and Handsome. Well, there's just no stopping you. With such a selection, I couldn't decide which style to buy you.
Show your feet you love them. Give them Barefoot Comfort Hush Puppies.
Well, what style do you like best? Well, even though I paid Otto 75 cents to start the applause, I have the feeling that you like the commercial, and that's great. I think that the commercial, or the 4 of them, will bear a lot of repetition, because every time I see them, I see something new in it, a new twist, a new view, a new angle. And that's what we're doing this coming season.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Have I got a present for you? Comfortable, eh? Naturally, it's hush puppies. Bet you didn't think they looked this good.
No.
You smooth devil, you.
I can't stand it.
Hey,
It's
Mr.
awful.
Tall, Dark, and Handsome.
Well, what style do you like best?
It's one of your worst.
Don't look at me.
You must get to look at.
I don't like that. It's weird. It's
kind of
corny.
stupid.
It's fake.
Doesn't say as much as it could.
I think what they've been like, I just don't like.
Compared to the good ones, it's just rotten. Because they've done some great ones, and that is not one of them.
It's ordinary. It's nothing special. It's just another commercial. I wouldn't stop and watch it if I was just watching TV. You don't see people every day talking to their feet and like that, you know. It's sort of weird.
The American one is just as bad, though. If that makes you feel any better.
Isn't that American? Just as bad.
No, we did that one, did
Did you?
Yeah.
You did not, did you?
Yeah, we did. You can blame me. I was there. I picked the talent. I was there when we shot the commercial.
I don't believe that.
Why
Well,
don't you believe it?
That's a commentary on the commercial. See, it's not as good as some of the other things we've done, I guess.
I mean, you agreed with it? But you...
Well, no, not really. I was kind of outvoted.
You were outvoted?
Yeah. Because we have a democratic system in our company, and we have everybody can exchange opinions, and there's no one dictator. And I was the only one who thought that was not a good commercial. The others thought it was a very good commercial. It's an embarrassment. But I guess as far as you're concerned, I was right. Which is kind of nice to know that your family thinks, or your family agrees with you on a creative thing like that. However, it did no harm. It might have done some good, because people at least talked about the commercial in the marketplace.
The commercial helped sell hush puppies,
It doesn't come anywhere near your good speedy stuff.
and Jerry Goodis still has the account.
Are we ready here to shoot?
Yes.
Yeah, can I go ahead?
Yes.
Okay, right, good.
Just like this, Rudy?
Yeah, sure, very casual, you know, that's sort of from your up, something like that, you know. And
I don't know what to do with my arms. So I get that look on my face like I'm running for Parliament, and I'm sure I'm going to lose.
with an agency to back you up.
With an yeah, I'll hire a good agency like Cofield Brown or something.
Actually, what I would like you to do, turn around a little bit more and sort of look a little bit more over your shoulder, yeah. When you first started off, did you have some sort of philosophy you wanted to put into practice as far as advertising is concerned?
Yeah, I thought that there was room for making better advertising in this
What what did you mean
and
at
my
the
second
time?
philosophy was I wanted to get rich. What is that in the background laughing? Is that an invalid requirement these days? No. You think I'm in for the love of it? God, it's one of the most aggravating businesses one could choose to go into.
Good shot. Terrific. Okay, that's it.
Excellent.
In October 1975, Goodis bought into McLaren Advertising. The move made him an equal shareholder in the largest advertising group in Canadian history. They will bill over $75 million this year. Jerry Goodis said he was very pleased with the arrangement.
That's great.
Okay.
That's terrific. Sure.
Okay, we'll make our disappearance here.